Yeah, that's the way it should be, right? We're probably, if not the last team, certainly one of the last teams in. The way our season has gone, that was an appropriate ending.
What were the last 72 hours, however many hours it's been since Thursday night?
You know, first, the way in which we lost, it's one thing to lose a basketball game, but the way in which we lost by, the game was a grind. No one could take control of it. Jarvis makes a 4-point play. Then we foul with under half a second to play in the game. That took a little getting over it in and of itself. We then travel back the next day and try to get our arms around where we are and what the future looks like. That's when you do a lot of scoreboard watching and you start then delving into comparisons. Because prior to that, believe it or not, obviously I'm cognizant of it. We're very straightforward with our team about where we are. We want them to get the proper information. But our focus was on controlling our own destiny by winning basketball games. Once that ended, obviously it was nerve-wracking to say the least.
What was it like, Andy, for you the weekend, Saturday? You talked about comparisons and scoreboard watching. I mean, were you just in front of a TV most of the time?
Yeah, I watched as much as I could. My dog, I've got a dog, and when you clap your hands or you raise your voice, the dog goes crazy. So needless to say, the dog was going crazy a lot on Saturday.
Do you know much of anything about BYU?
I'm a college basketball fan, so I've seen them play. I actually watched the game when they beat Gonzaga. We were on the road somewhere. I saw it in some hotel room, I believe. Very talented. And what's ironic is Tyler Halls, who I believe is the all-time leading scorer. He broke Jimmer Fredette's record, which is saying something. But he's the all-time leading scorer at BYU. I played against his father. How about that? It kind of tells you my journey. So I know Dave Rose, very great deal of respect for the job that he's done. It'll be a tremendous challenge, but we're just glad that we have the opportunity for that challenge.
Did you see the screenshot that came out before the CBS announcement?
The screenshot?
I guess on Twitter, it was a screenshot of the NCAA website that announced the game, Ole Miss BYU.
Really? No, I didn't see it. We obviously were, CBS is not stupid. They were going to make sure that the last bracket shown was the last tie-in to a first four. And we knew that was our only shot. There were a couple of surprises throughout the course of the bracket. When we saw certain teams that were not in the first four and certain teams that were left out completely, it was a little bit surprising, but we knew there was still hope.
Aside from Wyoming winning, it seemed like this week you couldn't have scripted a better week.
Well, because of, people don't talk about this much, but there's not a lot of bid stealers out there with the reconfiguration of conferences. When you start putting them all together in the same league, there's not as many opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like you pull Dayton into a different bracket, you pull Butler into, it limits the opportunities for guys to steal bids simply because now we're all in these big power conferences. For us, our season, we certainly took we took a circuitous route to get to where we wanted to be, and it was certainly not one in which I would have chosen, but ultimately we arrived at our destination.
Big picture wasn't that long ago when just the one thing you couldn't get to the tournament. Now this is 2 out of 3 years you're in the NCAA tournament.
It just, sometimes it's not so much what you do, it's what the people that you're competing against do. I felt like we've had teams that had equally as strong a resumes, but maybe the field was a little stronger and we get pushed out. This year, we certainly did not close as strongly as I would have hoped, but they talk about looking at your collective body of work. I think Oregon having that late run, most especially getting to the conference tournament finals, helped us. I think the year that Cincinnati had, the fact that we won 11 games away from home. Bill Armstrong and Bill and I have been here since day one. He's the first guy I hired when I got this job as my ops director. He was, I've known him. His father was an assistant coach when I played. I've known Bill. Bill was a ball boy. I've known him since he's about 10 years old. So obviously we've got a pretty strong relationship. And we were talking about how our resume, quote unquote, compares to history. I'm not sure there's ever been a resume like ours. I'm not sure there's ever been a team that won 20 games in the regular season and had 7 home losses. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. So for us, to have the opportunity against a good BYU team to continue the season, our guys were really down. They were down in the fact that we didn't play as well as we would have hoped in the SEC tournament. And again, the way that game ended, there was still a bit of a hangover effect. Hopefully now, I know they're very excited about what comes next.
You know, that's my question. I know you never know with kids, but do you almost sense that there'll be almost a relaxed reprieve kind of attitude that, you know, Thursday could have been devastating and now they're in the
Well,
tournament?
at the end of the day, you know, just as you said, we've been to 2 of the last 3 NCAA tournaments. Jarvis and Snoop and AJ are now part of a pretty unique group as it relates to Ole Miss history, in that they got to 2 tournaments in their 4-year period. My hope is that we'll just go play well. No pressure, stop squeezing the ball. And when you look at our stats, and I have poured over them throughout the course of this year, we're 18-4 if we can get to 40% from the field. We're not so good when we don't shoot 40%. So my hope is that, you know, we can make some shots. Now, there is one advantage. We have been in the building. You know, we played UD up there, obviously. It's one of the 4 losses that we had that we shot over 40%. So maybe there's some good karma there.
Aside from the comfortability in the building with the recent struggles, what gives you confidence that you guys can make a run?
I think we've shown capable. I think we've had a formula by which we've shown very capable. You know, winning at Oregon, the only team other than Arizona to have done so. Winning at, and convincingly, at Arkansas, good basketball teams. Playing Kentucky to the wire. We've shown certainly capable. We've got to stick to that formula. What is that? Got to shoot the ball in the basket. We got to make 40% of our field goals or better. We can't turn it over. You know, when we're successful, our turnovers are 11, 12 or fewer. We've got to do a good job collectively off the glass and win the rebounding battle. Make free throws, which we've done consistently throughout the 32 games to this point. And then we've got to defend. And it doesn't mean that the other team's not going to score. We don't have to hold them to 30% like we were able to do against South Carolina, which kept us in the game despite all of our other issues. But we've got to defend at a high rate. That's probably the biggest challenge playing BYU, their skill level, the fact that Tyler Hawes is such a dynamic offensive player. We're going to have to defend, and we're going to have to do it on a quick turn. You know, you play Tuesday night. We'll be flying to Dayton tomorrow. It'll be a very quick turn for us.
What is the challenge of that? You don't have the full week to prepare, the quick travel. I mean, what's the challenge of getting the guys ready?
My hope it's the fact that we have new life. There's new energy within our team, and that alone, we got veterans. We've been through this before. Hopefully we can get them enough information that gives us a chance on Tuesday.
You talk, Andy, about squeezing the ball. Maybe y'all won't do that. Do you see that much? Do you see that tension?
No
in these
question.
games?
No, it's a fine line. I mean, again, I'm a big believer in owning it. That's one thing I'm not an excuse maker, and let's own it. And the fact of the matter is, I'm very straightforward with these guys. Maybe too much. Not trying to put pressure, but trying to give them I told you guys before, I'm not big into surprises. My wife figured that out very early in our relationship. I'm not big, and so I work under the assumption of no one else, men especially, like surprises. So I'm very upfront with, hey, here's where we are, here's what we need to do. Now let's be man enough to go do it.
One of the biggest parts about struggling offensively is Moody going into the tournament was shooting like 27% over his last 4 or 5 games. It's just a matter of
Guys, Daniel does a great job. You guys will get that pack. I'm sure at this point, you know, you've thumbed through it. But if you looked at the shooting percentages of, you know, our main dudes in our losses, it's staggering. It's pretty staggering. And so that's not going to change. You know, Moody's got to make shots on Tuesday night. Jarvis got to make shots on Tuesday night. Snoop's got to make shots on Tuesday night. Collectively, we've got to finish around the rim on Tuesday. We got to rebound the ball. We are who we are, just like everybody in the tournament at this point. I'm just happy for these guys that they stayed the course, and they did stay the course. I've got a good group. Preparation has never been an issue. Focus has never been as good as I would have liked it, but it's not because some indifference. We've just got to go out and play the way that we've certainly shown capable.
And with defenses playing Moody the way they are now, you know, just flying at him, I mean, is there anything you can do to try to get him better?
I've got to do a good job of manufacturing him clean looks, and then he's got to do a good job of adjusting to the way he is being defended. This will be completely out of left field. It's kind of exciting. I know that's why they term it March Madness, and they pay $1 billion with a B dollars for it because it's exciting. I mean, BYU and Ole Miss, are you kidding me? Have we ever played, Daniel?
Don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, I guarantee you they haven't seen us play. Dave Rose, again, their coach and I are friends. We're Nike associates. We see each other in the summer. I'm sure they're like, Ole Miss, what does that stand for? You know, it's like when we were at the NIT Final Four, we were walking around with Ole Miss, and everybody was saying, Ole Miss, Ole Miss. So I'm sure they're looking like, so they're going to be trying to figure out who we are as well.
As a coach, I know in the conference season you have a 2-day turn, but you know those teams, you watched them all year. How much can you learn about a team in 2 days, and then how much of that do you throw at your kids?
That's where you gotta be very careful. And I'm not going, we'll be heavy into personnel. We'll get into style of play. But again, knowing them, they'll probably run 30, 35 plays. We're certainly not gonna get into all that. We're gonna do what we do, and you know what that is. We'll throw the kitchen sink at them defensively, try to keep them off rhythm, try to see what is effective that particular night against this particular team, and then stick with that. And we're the same way. I mean, I'm gonna, I would prefer one day to get out of the set calling business, but right now I'm in the set calling business, and so I'm gonna run about 30 or 35 on them. And they're not gonna know all those either. They'll play to tendencies. That's what ultimately, the team that plays better will advance.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Not good to travel with cold, man.
Oh, man, I got it. It's on me.